for the first and I can only assume only time, it's time to fight Dr. Wily. So, he's hidden himself in his robot manufacturing plant where he, well, manufactures robots. I should think that would be obvious. And before we can even go into his stages, he hails his UFO. And he gets his own introduction where he just does the eyebrow thing. Why? Because he's a show-off like that. Alright, now we can start. So I actually kind of like this stage, even though we start right off and there's a big eye. That's right at the beginning of the stage, one of the toughest enemies there is. Though, it's annoying to get through, but honestly I do kind of like it, because here we are, we're approaching Wily's base, and he's just sent a bunch of really tough robots at us. It's kind of neat for a starting segment, even though I've restarted this many a time, because, well, these things kinda keep draining my health. And of course, it's not just these guys. The other most annoying section in these stages is actually right after this, and I do mean right after. Like, I'm pretty sure there's, like, what, one more big eye? After I kill... Oh, wait, nope, this guy's the last one. So we just toss these blocks out of the way real quick. No problem at all. Here's the problem, though. These flame pillars. Now, you gotta hit them with the ice slasher, but yeah, if you accidentally hit them when they're too high up, you can't really get through the passage, so you have to hit them at just the right points. Of course, the last one's easy, though. Okay, so that's basically the most annoying parts of these stages out of the way. So, Wily stages. There are 4 of them in this game, and they're all one after another. You don't get any breaks in between. And not only that, you actually don't get a recharge of weapon energy in between Wily stages, so make sure to conserve your energy. Obviously, they're kind of relying heavily on the super arm, though honestly, it's only useful for one segment outside of these little sections where you throw them. I would suggest refilling these though, because super arm will come in very useful later on. I mean, you won't need it to survive, but you should have some. Just make sure you have some for a certain boss. In addition, you're also going to need the magnet beam because, well, you actually do need it, and there's actually a section which I believe is... Oh, yep, it's right here. Footholders are back. Yeah, these guys. Now, I might have gotten lucky in Iceman stage, but these guys have really erratic patterns, meaning they might just float around and you can't actually jump from one to the next because they're just, you know, being a pain in the ass. So I'm just going to use the magnet beam right here so I don't, you know, take forever or screw myself up. Either one of those things would suck. However, don't waste too much of this weapon's energy because we need it right now. And I do mean we need it. There's absolutely no way other than the magnet beam that you can actually get through this unless there's some sort of glitch I'm not aware of, so just be very careful with how you spend it. Probably shouldn't use it at all. It would be useful for the big eye section, but that would waste way too much energy. But after that, you don't really need it at all. I don't even think it comes in that useful. Oh boy. And surprise boss fight. So we're at the end of the first stage, and we've probably got one of the toughest bosses in the game. This, of course, is Yellow Devil, and when the fight starts, he will form on the right side of the room. Now, he's going to launch each of these little sections of himself at you, and they're pretty difficult to dodge. Now, each time he actually switches, like, you only get a few seconds to shoot his eye, which is his only weakness. His pattern's the same every time, but it's really fast, so it's hard to dodge. Now, I'm actually going to cheat this because I'll admit I'm not that good at this boss. Basically, you just want to pause every time the Thunder Beam hits, because basically it just resets his hitbox, and yeah, he's weak to Thunder Beam normally, but you can kill him in pretty much one go with that trick, and I'd normally be sorry for cheating, but I'm bad at that boss, so it doesn't waste your time, it doesn't waste my time, he's dead, I don't have to die 1,000 times, you don't have to watch me die 1,000 times, it's good for all of us in the end. So that's over and done with, and now it's the second Wily stage, which, it's kinda short. These are kinda short stages, but this one actually starts out in a pretty tricky area. These enemies can actually be pretty annoying, depending on how they group up. If a lot of them spawn, they, of course, are very difficult to avoid, because you'll just have a bunch of them swarming you, but I actually got pretty lucky here, and oh my goodness, a hole, I did not see this coming. And it's Cutman. Now, Cutman's kinda unique in that, there are actually no blocks in here, so you can't hit him with his weakness. Now, that shouldn't really make this any more difficult. Apparently it's more difficult for me, though, because I just can't dodge Cutman for the life of me. I don't know why. He's like the easiest boss in the game, though that shot was kind of cheap because I couldn't really avoid that, because I couldn't move for a moment. But whatever, at least I didn't die to Cutman. That would just be embarrassing. This section isn't nearly as bad as the first. It's not quite a copy-paste because this section is actually much shorter, and honestly, the turret enemies really aren't that bad. Just hit him with a Thunder Beam and you should be good. Try not to waste too many of those, even if they are very useful. You should probably start spending your, you should probably start picking up the energy refills with Thunder Beam, because that will come in useful. And now, of course, here's Lekman himself. Yeah, I think I overall took less damage from him than Cutman, which is kind of sad. And this is actually the last section of this stage, or, well, actually no, it's the last section like this in the stage. This time, though, we've got Bob-Ombs, or Bomb-Ombs. It's like the Mario enemy, just not spelled exactly like them. They're not as difficult to dodge as the Blader guys, or whatever the Copter guys are called, but they are a bit more difficult to dodge than the turrets, so just be very wary of them and try to dodge them. They can be tricky, but they're not too bad. So those sections are over, but we still got a little while to go. So of course we just have a section filled with these guys. This is kinda where Thunder Beam really shines, honestly. Oh, come on, that was cruel. Well, anyway, yeah. This section really isn't that difficult, but if you want to clear these guys easily and quickly, Thunder Beam, definitely what you're going to want to use, because it kills them in one hit, very good to hit down a line, can actually hit things below you, and I can't really think of that many other weapons that can really do that all that well. And of course, like I said, fill up Thunder Beam first, don't really have to worry about Magnet Beam. Super Arm, you should probably be wary of what your levels are at, but honestly, you should have enough energy, because you probably didn't waste that much and you're not going to be using it for a while, so you should be good on that. And oh, what do you know, another surprise boss room. This time we're in Dr. Wily's disco room, I guess, where this time around we're actually going to be instantly cloned somehow. That is pretty amazing, actually. So, the clone machine right here is actually going to copy Mega Man perfectly, right down to the ability he changes to. He actually attacks pretty quickly and can do some pretty good damage, however, he will jump whenever you shoot. I don't know if it's with every weapon or just with the Firestorm, but A, this is his weakness, and B, if this is the only weapon that makes him jump whenever you attack, then, well, that's just another advantage. He can be tricky, and obviously he's not in an exact loop. You can still get hit, he can still attack you, but he's very easy to hit if you just jump and shoot, because he'll just jump right into you, because I guess he's not that bright.